Okay, this is going to be the start of a new project that we're working on here. We're filming it. We're going to film this. Ben's going to help me film it. Phone's going to help me film it. Reasoning is I think we'll use it. Going to document the process of hold conditioning with a couple of the different dogs that we're training. I've got Elsa up here right now. I've got Tito in there. Tito is going to come up after. We're going to do the same thing with Moja. We're going to do it with Cody. We're going to see some differences with 4 different dogs through the hold process. And I've started with Elsa. She's the youngest of the 4. She's also maybe, in my opinion, going into it, and I've done a lot of these hold conditionings with dogs over the years, necessary thing. Have to get them through it in order to get a true retriever. It's going to fix a lot of problems. Elsa hasn't shown those problems or those signs, but some of those signs are dogs running off with bumpers in their mouth, dogs doing big victory laps when they come in. Maybe they don't pick it up at all. They blink at it, meaning they run out to it, act like they're going to pick it up, and at the last minute they decide, no, I'm not picking it up. So those are just a few issues. Dropping short, playing keep away, where they'll come up and want you to chase them. All things that you can't have, all things that get fixed with hold conditioning. Hold conditioning itself is almost a brainwashing. We're almost forcing these dogs to not be able to help, but once something goes in their mouth, they can't let it go. They can't physically open their mouth and let it go until they get the command, and my command is, I use the word dead, but you can use drop, you can use fetch, you can use whatever you want. But what happens is once they pick it up, they just physically won't be able to set it down, which forces them to bring it back to me, which allows me to be able to time this reward with the idea of a delivery, a good delivery. So it's real desirable for anyone in the field. It's also real desirable to fix problems, and those are some of those problems we talked about. The first thing I got to do, though, is it's a process that takes a while, and the first thing I have to do is get her to understand this spot, which I don't get real fancy. This is a freezer in my garage underneath a stairwell, which allows me some adjustable points in heights, and that's because I have dogs that are different sizes. So the little dog or the bigger dog is going to be up here. So what's going to happen is the first day, this is the first time we've ever done this with her, you can see her personality is real calm. She's pretty comfortable. Some dogs don't settle in very quickly. Some dogs freak out when I put them up on here. The reason we're taking their feet away from them, which is a very confident thing for them when they're on the ground, they can move, they're used to it. They do it all the time, they're on the ground. When you take that away and you put them up on a ledge, it takes away confidence, which normally I'm trying to build confidence in a dog. For this situation, I want their focus. So by taking that away, they're not nearly as apt to be paying attention to other things, distracted. So they're focused better when I get them up on a table. I use my freezer, it's just convenient. I put this on because I don't want them to be able to duck out. You have to think about like the mechanics of this. When a dog's got this in their mouth, if their head is down, all they do is open and it drops out. If their head is up and they open, it doesn't necessarily fall out. Or they have to tip their head to spit out. It adds one step. So the first thing I need a dog to do is I need them to be comfortable up here, which I can get her to move around a little bit. She's not tethered off yet, so that's fine. And she's settling her well. Some dogs get really intense when they're up there. They almost freeze up. She's been up here a couple minutes when we were getting this ready. So I'm going to start out with a flat collar, just a flat nylon collar. This is just a short tab. You can use a short rope. You can use whatever you need. I use that short little tab. It's about the right length. I put this on her, and you can see, if you get close, that's too high. It's tight on her already, and she's sitting comfortably. And you can also see, as soon as that thing went on, she kind of froze, and she tensed up. So I don't want her tense, and she's taking it really well, but I don't want them to freak out. This is totally new. So I don't want them freaking out and panicking. So I'm actually going to set this down one. Now the other thing that I see a lot of, she's not doing it, but a lot of dogs will duck out, duck out, duck out. They want to get down. They want to get out of this thing. So they physically want to get down. She's not. She's actually really settling in nicely. I started saying that out of all the dogs I have right now, she's the youngest that I'm going to do this with. She's just turned a year. But one thing about her is she's probably I have the least issues with her delivery. She actually holds and delivers very naturally. And it's something that I think before you ever get into hold conditioning fixes a lot of problems. A lot of problems are the ones that we've created. So when they're little, I want to encourage that delivery and form the habit early. It might not be formal, but it still can be a habit of when they bring something back, hold on to it and share it with them. So I'll get them in and I'll pet them up and they'll have something in their mouth and I'll tell them how good they are. I won't be in a big hurry to take it away from them. You can't get them thinking, I don't want to bring it back to him because he's going to steal it. They will become possessive. I don't want that. I want them to bring it to me and go, Dad, look what I got. And I want them to know that when they bring it to me, I'm going to go, wow, nice job. Good girl, good boy. Hold on to that for a second. I'll share it with you. Then eventually I can take it away. But if you start out early with that mindset, and I'm talking like 8, 9, 10 weeks, whenever you first start making maybe some little baby puppy retrieves, if you have that mentality, it's a lot less work when you get to this point. I have one right now that I did that with. It's just she didn't retrieve very well, Moja, and you're going to see her coming through. She does not deliver. She does not retrieve very well. She loves to do it. She just brings it back and drops it short a long ways from me. And then she forgets about it. She doesn't care about it anymore. I got to fix that problem and get her delivered to me. She doesn't have that problem. She actually holds very well and delivers very well. She will likely go through this process pretty quickly. So the first day or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, I don't care how long it takes, I need to have them where they're up here and they're comfortable like she is right now. She's doing it the first day and it's not surprising to me. It doesn't always happen that way. So this is a little bit tight. She's got a little bit of pressure on it. I'm either going to drop this down or I'm going to physically have to move her back a little. She likes being in the center of that freezer. She feels probably pretty safe. I might push her over to the edge and get her a little uncomfortable and watch her stiffen up. Look at her body language. Oh my gosh. So I want her to realize that if she just sits up, there's no pressure on that neck. Right now she's hunched over. I don't want pressure on this neck. Because what I want them to do is ultimately hold this and not duck out. And if they duck out, they feel the pressure. So I want them up. So before I ever put that in her mouth, I want her to sit up and not have pressure on her neck. She's down a little bit. See how she's trying to escape. She just realized, I can't even lay down. So she stood back up. That's good. So I'm really just training her right now. The lesson that she's getting right now is I'm going to have to sit. I'm going to have to sit well, and I won't feel any pressure. It won't hurt. She's well along the way of foundation. She understands pressure to the neck, which was key in our healing. She understands when she feels pressure, you just go back up. It turns it off. So she just tried to duck out of it. Didn't feel good. She sat back up. Good. Good. She's getting some watery. She's getting a little stressed out after that pressure. She started panting. It is warm out. But it's all stuff, little signs that she's kind of stressed out. There's a settling. She would like to lay down right now. If she could, she would. Good. What I like is right here. This is loose. That tells me that we're in a position where she understands this balance of don't pull, get up so there's no pressure. She's got it. If I want to, I raise it up and I get her to sit up even further. She's a small dog, so she's either going to be in the middle or the below enough. If she was even smaller, I'd put another nail in. If she was bigger, I'd put another nail in. Good, good. So when she does get comfortable, and this has some slack in it, I'll make sure to tell her she's good. I think she can get away with that bottom one without laying down. She tried laying down once. Couldn't do it. So that kind of tells me the right size as far as height-wise. Good. Good. So today, I may just get her comfortable on the freezer. And as long as this is loose like this might be the lesson for today. It probably will be. This is no rush. When you get into hold conditioning, you have to have this mindset that it's a not a sprint, it's a marathon. This might take 6 weeks, 8 weeks maybe. And the other thing is once this starts, there's no more retrieving. We're not going to make retrieves because whatever issues, usually I go to hold conditioning because issues have come up. Whatever issues there are, we stop them at that point so that we don't reform those, reinforce the bad habits. I don't want the bad habits. I need to cut them off immediately, go the opposite direction, fix it, create that as a new habit. And then when we get back to retrieving, this is going to be a process of start here, next step, next step, next step, next step, next step. Lots of steps. And eventually when we get back to retrieving, it's simply transitioning this theory or idea of hold, connecting it to retrieve. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the retrieve, hold kicks back in the back of their mind. It's this memory thing that they can't. Now she really settled in. If you get her caught, get her leash, she's stepped back, and it's gotten slack, and it's actually sitting at a pair. You know, it's opposite. It's not tightened out at all. It's flattened out. So it's right here. Very good. That's how I'm going to end the lesson. Is her adjustment to be in a super position. And then eventually we'll start putting this bumper in, but we'll talk about that one, or that wooden dowel, and we'll talk about that why and how we're going to do it when we get there. But that's good. There's a nice little lesson. Took us, I don't know, 5 minutes. Very good. So then I'll take her off and put her back up.